Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got ranking the greatest big threes in NBA history. Video by Austin Sweat. I already saw in the thumbnail, I saw a picture of bitch-ass Durant. I've not said that in a long time, but I will say it when it, pertains to the Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It does not count. That's a big two and a big snake. It's different. It's not a big three. Let's get into it.
Damn it, Rudy. Ranking the top 10
best damn it, Rudy.
threes in NBA.
Damn it, Rudy.
We did something
hashtag damn it, Rudy
of all time, and that video did pretty good, so here we are again. And this video's got a pretty good
bro, look at the moves. Look at Curry, man.
Older teams from a while back. And each team had 3-star players that made up their big three and led to a lot of success in championships, which made each of these teams some of the greatest.
Yo, Ginobili. Yo, shooting righty. What?
Number 10, then working down to the best big three of all time.
Bro, that's Ginobili,
but
right?
First, we do got to give some honorable mentions to a couple of teams. And I'll say that
better have some mention of the Pistons. We got 3 championships.
Every team on this list won a championship, so big three's made up of guys like John Stockton, Karl Malone, and Jeff Hornacek.
Don't count, right?
When one just couldn't make the list. And a few notable championship threes couldn't either, like the Celtics with Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen, or the Kareem, Oscar Robertson, and Bob Dandridge.
Damn, man.
Once the video's over, though, it's going to make a lot more sense why 10 teams made it.
Well, I guess the Pistons ain't going to be on there,
so
right?
Let's start with number 10. In the Cavs with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. Now, like I said, there's been way more than 10 great big threes throughout NBA history, but not many more that were actually.
See, but I'm gonna give it to the Celtics. I would give it to Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen over these 3, man, because they got a lot of injuries and stuff like that, man, like in the playoffs and stuff, bro. That championship that the Celtics brought, that was big time, man. That was big time.
A championship like these guys did. And that played one of the biggest factors in them making it in the top 10. I mean, having LeBron James was a big enough factor, but still. And Kyrie Irving was at his best in Cleveland and a great second option to LeBron.
That's true.
That being the only time he's fit in on a team since being in the league.
Kevin Love got his arm ripped out by Olynyk, remember that?
Well, it was more of a big 2 for most of the time because Kevin Love never found his own role on that team. He was always either the odd man out or injured in the NBA Finals.
I told you guys, that's why it shouldn't count. It shouldn't count.
Looking back, it's always painful.
Give it to the Celtics in this case. If we're going based off championships and Kevin Love was not part of it that much because of injuries and stuff, you got to give it to the Celtics.
Think is how terrible the rest of the roster was. And of course, it doesn't help their reputation.
Yo, they had George Hill. No, he was a trash can back then.
3 straight finals. Of course, only winning one of them. Who knows though, if the Warriors weren't around and they won more titles, maybe we'd rank this team higher. But that's just not how it played out, and it's why they stay here at number 10. Number 9.
Yo! Let's go!
Thomas,
yes! Yes! Yes!
And these guys all meshed together perfectly.
Yes!
They all followed along with the mindset of playing dirty and doing whatever it took on defense.
We didn't play dirty, we played hard. It's different. Like, if you think the Pistons played dirty, come on now. We didn't play dirty. We just played on an intergalactical level of physicality that was beyond the realm of the NBA mind at the time. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't dirt. No, ain't no freaking dirt involved.
Done. And that's what made the Bad Boys Pistons.
That's a clean play.
Quite possibly the most hated team of all time. But even with that, there's no denying how good they were. Because they were.
You hate the Pistons, you're soft.
Teams to beat Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
How can you hate this squad? It's all good people in this picture.
Championship runs. Isaiah Thomas was the clear star on the team, leading the way with one of the greatest all-around games for a point guard that we've ever seen. While Joe Dumars was really comparable to how Klay Thompson was in his Splash Brother days. Because aside from when Dennis Rodman was on the team, he was the team's best overall defender and had a few seasons shooting 40% from 3 back in the 80s.
Yes, sir.
While Embiid was arguably the dirtiest player in the history of the league and the backbone of this trio.
Damn, Bruce Bowen says hello! Freaking Bill Laimbeer wasn't dirty, man. Come on now. Freaking Larry Bird got caught up in his feelings too much. Larry Bird be fucking tossing around elbows, crying and shit like that. And then he wants to go out there and call Bill Laimbeer dirty, bro.
And because of this, some people forget how good he actually was as a center in his prime. And before we get to number 8, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor and a product I personally support in Surfshark VPN.
Surfshark,
and
okay.
Here's
All
why
VPN,
that local NBA game is
gotta protect your stuff.
Protection feature.
Yep, protection, blind search,
so
Surfshark.
And now we can get back to number 8.
/sweat.
Number 8, the Boston Celtics with Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, and Tom Henson. Now we all know this team played together in the 60s, and in their 7 years together, they won 6 NBA championships.
That's insane to still even say to this day.
MVP, Henson Robinson was an all-NBA power forward, and Bill Russell, of course, was right there with Wilt Chamberlain as the best center in the NBA. And with all
who
that
was
said,
the best?
some people
Who was
really
the
do
best?
have this trio
Guys,
as
let me
their
know.
#1 big three of all time, but I couldn't do it for a couple of reasons. Not taking away from what these guys accomplished, but as we know, the league was a lot different back then. There was a lot less teams, a lot less competition, and players weren't as good. It was just a different time, and I wanted at least the top 5 to be
I respect that
modern
choice.
teams. Plus, that's not even to mention
They were top for their time, but yeah, if you put them in today's NBA, they're still a good team because Bill Russell would go and everything like that. But
how stacked
they
the
win
rest of the
16,
roster
whatever.
really was back then compared to what the rest of the NBA was at that point.
Or 6,
that
whatever he
gives them
said.
Even more of an advantage. Number 7, the Warriors with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green.
Damn, they're gonna be at here
And
twice.
yes, we have this team ranked a few spots ahead of LeBron and the Cavs, even though they beat them in their 73-9 season, and what turned out to be their last real season as a trio. But they deserve to be here. These guys, led by Steph Curry, changed the way basketball was played, and they were the perfect complements for each other. Draymond was the perfect small ball big man that did all the little things. Klay stretched the floor and defended better than anyone at the time, and Steph was able to win 2 consecutive MVPs.
Yeah, but once again, come
one
down to the
unanimous,
championships, I
2
thought.
finals appearances, 1 championship, and led the team to a 73-9 record, while he also had one of the best personal seasons of all time in 2015 and 16.
Bro, he got such a soft jump shot.
And LeBron
I wish I could shoot that soft.
Split their 2 final series with each team winning
Always
one.
clank it.
There's still no doubt that this big 3, who the Warriors did draft all 3 of them,
I do
meshed
respect
way
that a
better
lot.
together than LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love did. Plus, let's not forget all the Cavs.
I liked the Warriors before Kevin Durant was actually there because I did respect that they were all drafted and slept on players in the draft.
Regular season struggles compared to the Warriors, who really dominated all year long. Then number 6 goes to the Heat with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne.
Damn, only at number
And some
6?
people might have been
Wow.
expecting them to be a little higher.
I
but
was.
I think them being here really made sense.
Damn,
Especially
okay.
considering the fact that the team didn't fully live up to
Better have
expectations.
Dirk, Jason
Don't
Terry,
get
and
me wrong,
Tyson
though,
Chandler.
They dominated the regular season in all of their 4 years together, made the finals every single year, and ended up with 2 championships. Plus, don't forget about their near NBA record 27-game win streak at one point.
And D-Wade wasn't even in his prime anymore.
Done. But I mean, they shouldn't have lost to the Mavs, and they barely beat the Spurs the first time around. And for 3 of the best players in the world to join up like they did, when not too many other stars were teaming up, they really shouldn't have lost some of the games that they did. But also look
I mean,
back
chemistry and
just
stuff, you
how
know.
well these 3 guys ended up
So
playing.
the NBA.
LeBron played like an MVP all 4 years and was still able to win 2 of them. D-Wade still averaged over 20 a game, and Chris Bosh ended up fitting perfectly into the role asked of him. And for all 3 guys to be on the same page like that really says something. Because from all of the failed
I miss
super
Chris
teams
Bosh
we've
a
seen
lot.
throughout league history, and even some of the big 3s in this video. So
Yo, could you
far.
imagine if he was still in the Heat right now playing with Bam? Bro, he'd be the perfect player for the Heat, man. Come on, retirement, man. I know his health. No, he got health concerns.
Not
Stay
every
retired.
team was able to mesh as well as these guys eventually did. It was clear LeBron was the leader, Wade had stepped down to the second option, and Bosh to a third option even though he clearly struggled at first. Number 5, we have the Celtics trio with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and
Damn, no Rondo.
And
I guess Rondo was part of the big
this was
3.
by far one of the greatest. They
Keep on
played
saying
together
Rondo
nearly
instead of
all
Pierce for some
McHale and
reason.
Bird's careers and the majority of Parrish's. And together they won 3 NBA championships as a team, while also individually cementing their own legacies. Larry Bird became a 3-time
Oh my
MVP,
God.
a 2-time
Look at all
member of
that
the
shit, bro.
50-40-90 club,
Damn,
and
bro.
one of the greatest shooters and all-around players in league history. While McHale became a 2-time
Yo, look at his hair, man.
all while being a top power forward on both ends. And Robert Parrish really became the anchor for the team on the defensive end. And it's not often that 3 guys are all put together where their skills perfectly complement each other so much, to the point where each guy could dominate a separate part of the game on a nightly basis. Bird had
Them
shooting
short shorts
passing,
ain't it, though.
McHale had
Just
the
saying.
post, and Parrish had the paint under control. And all of this was why they dominated the NBA as a whole. Like I said, they won 3 championships, but overall made the finals 5 times together in their 12 years as teammates. And they only lost 2 of them because it was against Magic Johnson, Kareem, and the Lakers. So it makes sense. And speaking of them, that team takes number 4 with Magic Johnson, Kareem, and James Worthy. Magic Johnson and Kareem alone were a top 2 NBA duo of all time, and they won 2 championships together. But then James Worthy was drafted and officially made them a big 3. And if you don't know too much about James Worthy, he was no joke. The Lakers drafted
I liked his
him
glasses.
overall. He eventually got the nickname Big Game James for coming up in huge important games, which was how he
Give that nickname to LeBron.
Finals MVP. And Larry Bird even said he was the toughest matchup he ever faced in his career. So the Lakers had Magic at point and Kareem at center, then added Worthy at small forward to the wing, and they were set. It gave him a young Magic,
bro, imagine me
young
at the
Worthy,
2 spot though.
and Kareem, who was a veteran.
Splashing them threes.
That wasn't as dominant as he used to be, but was
I'll just be a
as
pick and
consistent
pop.
and gave them the leadership that they needed. So the Showtime Lakers
Pick
then
and
made
splash,
the final
man.
6
That's
out
the
of
crispy
7
play.
seasons after Worthy joined the team and won 3 of them. And it's safe to say that during their prime, looking back, they had the best point guard of all time, the best center of all time, and
Isaiah
a
Thomas
top
says
10
hello,
small
Ben Wallace says
forward,
hello.
all on one team. Number 3, the Spurs with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker.
Yup,
won.
respect on this one.
And of course, if it was a Big 4 video, we
That's because there's a longevity.
might have included Kawhi Leonard, but it's not, so it's just these 3. And a lot of
No,
people
yeah,
had
it's,
these-
in any way, it's like, Kawhi was like towards the end. Like these 3 right here, this was the big 3, then Kawhi was added later on. So, yeah, these boys was getting it done before Kawhi Leonard.
as their number 1 trio of all time. And while I don't have them there, for me they still made the top 3. They all first teamed up in 2002, once Manu Ginobili joined the team last. And before this, Tim Duncan had already established his name and won his own championship with David Robinson.
Tony Parker got
by
that Finals
2003,
MVP
once all
too.
these
Remember
guys got
that.
Together, he was able to lead them to another one, and once again in 2005, in 2007, and their last one together in 2014. They all led the Spurs to the playoffs every single year they were together, and Tim Duncan stayed consistent for nearly his entire 20-year
Bro, why is he
career.
shooting
While
righty?
Manu and Tony really developed into great players.
Look, he's a
every
lefty,
single
bro.
year.
What is he
And I
doing?
would rank this squad higher. I mean, they were together by far the longest out of any trio on the list, and had by far the most years of success. But due to them being in the Spurs system with Greg Popovich, they did have a bit of an advantage. I will say though, it wouldn't have worked without these guys being who they were. Duncan was the silent leader. Tony Parker knew that and took every opportunity to learn from him.
My friend
While
always
Manu
called him the
Ginobili
French
took one of the
fucker.
biggest sacrifices
I don't know
anyone
why.
ever had
I don't know
in the
why.
NBA and
I
came off the
know
bench
why.
for the majority of
I
his
know why.
career. None of them had egos, and if any of them did, this entire thing wouldn't have worked. Which is why they were without a doubt a top 3 big 3 of all time. Number 2, again the Warriors with Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and
See, this one doesn't count.
the 73-9 Warriors were great, but as I said, LeBron and the Cavs were able to beat them. But once Kevin Durant joined the team, nobody was going to beat this team for as long as they stayed.
It was still the same big 3 of Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, and then just, Kevin Durant had to hop on the bandwagon.
together. If injuries hadn't have happened, this team may never have gotten beaten in a 7-game series, and that's why I had to rank them over the Spurs and the Lakers. And while they had a stacked team with guys like Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, and other great role players, this big 3 made them who they were. I mean, like I mentioned, this team
No,
had already
Curry and
established
Thompson already made it
themselves
who
as
they
one
were.
of the best overall in the league.
They were who we
came
thought
in
they
and
were
the
before they
Warriors
who they
left
were.
3 league MVPs on their side. And Steph did take the backseat to KD, which again, not many stars would do. But he was still able to average 26, 6, and 5 for all of their 3 years together. And Klay Thompson rarely touched the ball, but still somehow averaged.
when he did, it was a
28
splash
games
every
as
time.
One of the most efficient 3-point shooters and best on-ball defenders. All of this easily made them one of the most hated teams in NBA history, and nobody liked it. The whole thing took all the excitement out of the league, but there's no doubt that this iteration of the Golden State Warriors is without a doubt one of the greatest teams of all time. One of the best big 3s, and the starting 5 that they had is quite possibly the best we've ever seen. Then there's number 1 with Michael
why aren't they
Jordan,
number 1?
Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. And of course this had to be the number 1 spot.
See, if we're going all in, talking about like the big 3s and stuff, we already got like. I think I'm taking Curry, Klay, and Durant over Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. And the only reason I say that is not because of MJ and Scottie, of course, but just the separation of the third piece. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at with it. Because obviously, Durant better than Scottie Pippen, MJ better than Curry, and then you're looking at Klay versus Scottie. I mean, one's an offensive juggernaut, the other one's a defense juggernaut. But even with Klay, it's like you still get really good defense. I don't know. It's just, like, I feel like this is like the safe answer right here. But, I don't know, bro.
With Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen.
If you want to
and
add like
Dennis
more
Rodman.
winning and stuff, then
And
yeah.
of course, this had to be
Okay.
the number 1 spot. The Bulls were unstoppable.
I think there's
from
arguments to be made.
1990 to 93 when they three-peated the first time. They won 3 in a row and nobody was even...
Yeah, longevity, okay.
Because they had the best player in the league and one of the best defenders.
It's more than just talent.
But then came 1995 when they added Dennis Rodman, who was the best overall defender and the best rebounder by far.
Former Piston, too.
The team created the greatest big three of all time. I mean, if they weren't unstoppable enough already, it just made things unfair. They'd go on to have a 72-10 season, winning the championship and 2 more after that, going 3-0 as a group.
Bro, what is Dennis wearing?
Era and they would
Yo, what is Scotty wearing?
Some rankings
Damn, overalls.
Debatable or controversial.
But yeah, I mean, you know, like he said right there, it's up for debate. Nobody's list is going to be 100% perfect because nobody's going to agree with everybody all the time. Like, my list would look different too. I'm going to have Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen on that list. But, yeah, plain and simple, I thought overall it was really solid. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.